Okay, look. Before we go into the conversation, we already live.
Yeah, we're live. We're live. Good evening, everyone. Buenas noches. Hoy vamos a hablar de algo muy delicado. We're going to talk about a very sensitive topic. The last 72 hours, we've seen a massacre of our people in Honduras at the hands of what it seems like narco traffickers. So these type of executions are akin to what we see on TV and what happened in Colombia with Pablo Escobar, something that we have ever seen, we've never seen in our community, in three communities. Um, on Thursday, it was two women, a mother and a daughter. Uh, Gilma Antonia Cacho Flores is the mother, and her daughter, Flori Amaya Cacho. Um, And then yesterday, it was a married couple in Bajamar.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have their names. Trevor, do you have their names? The married couple in Bajamar?
I don't have their names. It has not
Okay.
been released.
So recently, today, it was Mirna Suazo Martinez from Masca. She's a very vocal leader there from the Patronato, which is similar to a community board president here in America, and she was executed 15 times, Ibrahim. And there was a leader there in Masca, Silvio Martinez, that was executed 2 years ago.
But
All these executions are with impunity, no investigation. Um, it's domestic terrorism. 4 years ago, we saw Faustin Palacios Lino and Elvis Garcia executed by the National Police, again, with impunity, no investigation, what have you. We do know that the Honduran, that the military, there's an American military presence in Honduras with 6 bases. And Ibrahim, we're in war. Trevor, we are at war right now.
Absolutely.
We are at war right now. And my concern is that a lot of Garifuna people are practically in denial of this war. They don't even want to touch it. They don't even want to look that way.
Yeah.
You know, and that's our reality. But we are being executed with impunity in Honduras at the hands of the government. If the government doesn't do it, they're gonna hire hitmen to do it.
But I think
And that's where the cartels come in.
Well, the thing is that we have the Garifuna communities in Honduras on the Caribbean coast. So hearsay is telling us that the cargo is coming in from the Caribbean coast and into since the Garifuna communities are at the Caribbean coast, that's their entry point into San Pedro and Tegucigalpa. So it could be distributed to the markets up north. So we're just practically caught up in this madness, you know, and the socioeconomic um, end of it makes us targets to become involved in this drug trade. But look what's happening. Our people are being massacred. I mean, the two women in Aguan, I could tell you, they're not involved in drugs. It's probably the male person in the house that's involved.
And that's how the story goes.
And again, since he didn't do something that he was supposed to, we don't know what that thing is. They ended up paying the price. So 5 men went into these women's house, basically shot them up. I mean, we saw what happened in Julio Lino and Trujillo where they had the protest there about 3 weeks ago. You know, regarding the national police coming over and telling them to leave and what have you. It happened 3 weeks ago. And we saw what happened in Vallecito, in which they were surrounded by armed gunmen.
Right.
So for you to tell me, I mean, that we're not at war, I mean, you're dreaming or you're taking something. You're taking something, and I believe that we need to have a serious conversation with the community.
Right.
And
With this,
speaking of which, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but
no,
I
go
need to
ahead.
put this out there. I'm gonna go ahead and come from a strategical and military perspective. Aside from the fact that our territories are around the coast, you have to keep in mind that you have corporations that are involved in the palm oil industry. Not just
Right.
the palm oil industry, but you also have natural resources that we're sitting on.
Right.
Okay, that's the bigger picture. Aside from the narcotraficantes, we are caught up in it's basically this is a war of economics. It's a war of
Economics.
economics
Right.
because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. It's about money.
Right,
Right.
Okay,
right.
so on that note, you see, we also have to go and find out who's collaborating because there has to be people that are collaborating that are taking a part of this. Who's involved? Who has the most to gain from this? And who are pretty much the ringleaders? Guarantee you that the cartel is just a tip of the iceberg. The cartels are just doing the dirty work. It's just convenience for them because they also have something to gain monetarily from there, from having to have control of a route.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So we have to go ahead and look at that. That's the major. That's the
Picture.
overall picture. Okay, these people, our people, they're just collateral damage.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? They're not looking at us as human beings. They're looking at us as numbers. These are just collateral damage. So what? A couple, two women. So what? Let's kill them with impunity and wholesale. Let's go and take over. They have the conquest, the conquistador mindset.
Right.
And I'm letting you know this. This is just my opinion, but there are entities within our community that are collaborating with these people because they have chump changed the game from that. Keep
Yeah.
in mind that our people are in the disparity right now, that they barely have, quote unquote, they barely have access to resources to make their lives a little bit better. That's the real object. That's the real purpose of all this.
Right.
Let's just go ahead and keep it real. That's the real purpose of all this. It's all about economics. We need to find out who's at the center of all this. Last time I went ahead and checked because I do collect intel. Um, Dynan Corporation of Honduras, which, by the way, the actual owner, the CEO and owner, he died back in 2013, 2014.
Right.
They were in charge. They actually had ownership, quote unquote, of Vallecito.
Right.
Keep in mind that again, everyone has something. These parties have something to gain from us being pushed out. It's not so much about being pushed out of Honduras. It's about getting out of territory that actually has natural resources in a legal standpoint of view and in an illicit standpoint of view.
Right.
So right now, what we have to do is we have to go ahead and compose a plan. We have to put together a plan to go ahead and bring everyone together, bring all of our resources together to go ahead and, I'm gonna be honest with you, make a stand. And on top of that, we're gonna have to go ahead and actually certain things we're gonna have to go and establish diplomatically, and we're gonna have to reach out to certain people,
Right.
even if it means well, we're gonna have to reach out to certain people, which I can assist with that as well. But we're at a point right now that yes, war is being declared on us, but it's on an economic standpoint of view because that's what it's about. Keep in mind that in the system of racism, white supremacy, there's only two losses that they can't take. That's the loss of money and the loss of life, and they definitely don't want to lose both.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in saying that, I mean, just to keep it short, in saying that, I mean, we have to go ahead and cut through all the intricacies and all the other, I'm going to be honest with you, all the other BS that everyone's throwing at us. This is what it's about. Point blank, full stop.
So
It's
we gotta
about
hit it.
money.
Yeah. So we gotta hit it.
Let me get ahead for a second, though, Trevor. I forgot to mention Santa Fe right now. They're creating fires in the forest, in the areas where people go to plant crops and so forth. They're creating fires. And the thing is this, the water that runs in the rivers are all dried out. So how are they going to put away the fire? That's what
But all that is
happened.
connected, brother. All that is connected. Some of those things are just distractors. Some of them are just distractors. Remember, they are looking at everything from a military and economic standpoint of view. They don't care about anything else. It's all about strategics. It's all about getting the mission accomplished. Not to sound like I'm not trying to take over the conversation, but I just have to throw that out there. All these other things, these skirmishes and all that other stuff, they're just distractors, or they're basically propaganda of fear.
Right. Well, look, if I may say something, Pablo,
Yeah,
um, the reason we're here on Mabriga Garinagu is to speak to our people to let them know that the time has come for us to wake up and acknowledge the fact that we are enemies of the state, irrespective of where we're at. Belize, Nicaragua, Guatemala, Uruguay, mainly Honduras at this period of time. That's why we're here to have a conversation with you guys so that you can know what is going on outside of your local community. It's a lot that's going on. My reason for being in this conversation is to remind our people that we must come together and have a common goal of establishing Garifuna institutions. Because everything that we're going through right now will not be resolved through conversation. It won't be resolved through a live talk. It's going to require foot and boots on the ground. We're going to have to go to Honduras. We're going to have
Agreed.
to get there. And the reason I'm wearing these colors right now, because this is the attitude that Garifuna women and men need to have right now. Our people are being attacked. What are we going to do about it? As much as we claim that we love being Garifuna, as much as we claim that we love our people, and they're being killed 5 in 2 days. 5 garinagu. Sengi no hafaro. Lida bien veyu. Sengi. Bien ya masca. Bien ya aba ya masca to hafaro bo unye. Bien maha hafaro bo ya bahamaru. Aba ya bien maha hafaro bo ya aguan. Sengi lida bien veyu. Kabage waduku. Monsu wachiliru indura balisina. Monsu wachiliru indura guadimaluna. Monsu wachiliru indura yurumena. Merigang. Monsu wachiliru. We got to get there. So Ibrahim, the brother who you see in the purple shirt, he is our chancellor of security. He comes from the military background and approach. At the top, we have Pablo Blanco, who is the vice president of the International Garifuna Council and the leader of Mabriga Garinagu in regards to establishing a media so that we can communicate with each other, so that we can pass these messages on swiftly, so that our enemies don't surround us and we don't know it until it's too late. Pablo, remember the conversation, I think you were there, that we had with Carla. Narcotraficantes about 2 or 3 weeks ago told Miriam Miranda that if they find her in Vallecito, she's dead. Abahan go through Miriam, ahon lani get chile de Vallecito, half of the Golani. With the past 5 that they just killed, do we think that's possible? It's definitely possible. So Pablo, thank you for having us on Mabriga Garinagu again. Brother Ibrahim, thank you for being on board. Let's continue the conversation. And the call of action today is we have to fix this. We just can't stand idly by.
Abraham, is that your background with the
Yeah,
okay? Can you lower that down?
I can't. This is a light. This is a overhead light.
It's his background environment as well.
The background noise.
It,
No, they got the TV on and stuff. So
okay, Abraham, well, let's do this. When you're not talking, if you could just mute your phone, that'll be
yeah.
perfect.
Yeah,
All
that,
right.
Yeah,
I definitely want every person to hear what we're saying, clearly, because
right,
this is very serious. I mean, one life is too much.
right,
Only because we're 100,000 in um, Honduras And the biggest community is only one community that really has more than 2,000 people, and that's only one community. So we're spread around 55 territories in Honduras. So
Right.
one life is too many. I mean, there has to be a way for us to deal with this. I mean, as in unison, because all these incidents happen separately. They happen in Vallecito. I mean,
Right.
Bajamar, which is in Puerto Cortes, and they happen in Colón, which is Aguan, Julio Lino, and Cristales Trujillo. That's in Colón as well.
Right.
So this is the entire community. So all of us must be concerned about what's going on. I mean, I know the persons that only connection to the community is via the dancing and the music.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately,
Yeah.
that's the only connection. But
Right.
I'm here to say that after doing my research on my community, like, and my people and my lineage is a little bit different like that. Like, I view the community in a very different way. I view us as prisoners of war
Right.
in Honduras because there's
Okay.
no other way to describe us. We just move around in this prison
Right. What I
in
want to
Honduras.
say, about that right now is any Garifuna person that's waving your Honduran flag, stop, stop,
Well, here's the
stop.
thing,
You,
Trevor.
you, you, you know, you're showing patriotism to a country that could care less about you.
Well, here's the
Stop.
thing. This is the confusion that our community have in Honduras in being called a catracho, which is to
Mm-hmm.
me
Duh.
a goal to be accepted into that society, which obviously will never accept us.
Right.
Because Julian Kanawati, I believe her name is, she's the consul general for Honduras. She was here. She's still here, actually. They had a meeting with a couple of Garifuna leaders on Saturday at Seis Vecinos, which is a restaurant over here on Prospect Avenue. And I'm just curious to know, what did they talk about? Do they know that people are being massacred? Did the Garifuna elders that met with her
Right.
indicate to her what's happening in Aguan and in Vallecito and Julio Lino and in Cristales? And one of the people that met with her, his roots are in Cristales. Well, two of the people that met with her, their roots are in Cristales. Are they concerned with what's going on over there?
Well, we can't say that they are not because we weren't there. Let's not make
Right,
that
exactly.
mistake.
But we got to ask the questions.
Right. Right. Right.
We have
And,
to ask the
and,
questions.
and if that's what the question is, we want to know if they are concerned. And we also want to know if that conversation was had. Like right now, every Garifuna community, I don't care where you at, whether you're in Southside Chicago, if you are in Seattle, New Orleans, Houston, Texas, it doesn't matter, New York, Bronx, Brooklyn, you should be looking at and questioning yourself about what's going on in Honduras right now. The type of shit that is going on with us right now, just like you said, Pablo, there are things you see on television. Okay? And for those who don't know, the government of Honduras is trying to exile garinagu from all of their territory in Honduras. Now, Ibrahim broke it down. It's all a military strategy, it's all an economic strategy because of the resources that we have on our territory.
Right.
And if we know this now, right? Thank you for the breakdown, Ibrahim. Now, if we know this now, then we know that we have resources to protect, right? Other than the land itself. And all we have to do is put our mouth or our money where our mouth is at because there are people right now making money off of punta. People are being hired to make money off of our culture. I don't have a problem with that. But when do you get back to the culture though? Do you care about what's going on right now in this very moment because it's happening in Honduras? Because it's not happening in Belize or it's not happening in Guatemala? Do you care?
Well, the thing is, those communities are smaller than ours, Trevor. A lot of this can happen in Livingston, in St. Louis, Punta Gorda. I mean, it's gonna be unheard of. Like people not gonna necessarily hear about it in time to actually do something.
No, it's a
But
whole lot that they could do, man. And
we,
right,
Oh,
I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. That's why I pledge for us to have this assembly from Masca to La Playa. It needs to happen for us in
right,
Honduras. And then
okay. Well, go ahead. I'm
eventually,
sorry.
Ibrahim, and I'll let you talk next. Eventually, from St. Bites to Barranco in Belize.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
the brothers and sisters from La Buga need to come down and join us because that's the only way. Like, this is the entire community.
right,
This is just not one or two communities. This is the entire community that
yeah.
this aggression is on.
Well, the IGC is planning on doing that August of next year, having this same assembly conversation that you're talking about. And whoever is with us, we're inviting you to that. Contact Pablo directly or myself because it's a conversation that needs to be had face to face. And look, Pablo, I'm asking Urume to be there. I'm asking Belize to be there. I'm asking Guatemala to be there. I'm asking the United States to be there. You know what I mean? We got to. We're Garifuna people. We were exiled 222 years ago. And if our people there are dealing with that right now in 2019, we all need to step up because we're the product of the same 2,500 people that made it. Ibrahim, what are your thoughts, beloved?
Okay, this is gonna be a little bit winded,
Mm-hmm.
so I hope everyone has the thinking caps on because I'm about to take y'all on a ride.
Okay.
So, men, grab your nuts.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and break it down to you.
Okay.
Before I even get into that, I'm gonna get into my military background briefly as Chancellor of Transnational Defense. Um, I served with the 11th Marines Expeditionary Unit, Marine Force Recon Intel. I was in Iraq first boots ground 2003. I did 2 tours. So I know a lot about warfare.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna go and put it out. I'm gonna put it out there, and that's just the beginning. I won't even tell you the stuff that I've done. I'll put it to you like this: I still have nightmares. Anyway, okay, we have to realize who we are. Number one, they know it. We are the children of Satya, King Joseph Satya, not Chief.
Right.
Chief is a derogatory term that was used with the British and the French and those Caucasian devils to go ahead and actually bring down a title of our great, 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 great grandfather.
Right.
The only king. He's the only standing king. After him, there is no more. We're princes, though. We are royalty, all of us. We are bigger than the Saudi family. By blood. We are all linked. We are all relatives. Whether
Yeah.
first, second, or third generation, or third cousins, even fourth cousins. We are a royal family, and we need to start acting as such.
Right.
In saying so, we need to start taking our titles. We are prince and princesses. There may be one or two or three or council in charge, but we're all royalty. So and I'm going to put that out there. And we're
Right.
warriors,
Yeah.
all of us, because even the women fought.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah. Facts.
our
Fierce.
women our women are the most fiercest warriors in the world, hands down. Not even the sisters in Africa can touch our sisters. And I'll say it. We need to go and start mustering up that spirit.
Right.
We need to muster up the spirit of our grandfather, King Joseph Sathye,
Right.
and his wives who produced us. Okay? And in saying so, now I'm going to go from a military standpoint of view. Right now, what we need to do really is we need to go ahead and actually not only collect our intelligence, but we need to get all the patronatos together. And I already have a plan that, with, of course, permission of the president and vice president, I wish to go ahead and actually execute this plan. We need to bring everything under one house, first and foremost,
Right.
under a council, which is us, the IGC. We're
Right.
that council.
Right.
All the other organizations, they can go ahead and do diplomacy all day. That's fine.
Right.
Okay, cool. But at the end of the day, we are the governing body. We are the guardians and the protector. And as a chancellor of transnational defense, I take that job very seriously. I am a guardian.
Right.
And I'm going to need more warriors to
Right.
step up to the plate to
Right.
go ahead and actually start making and start moving.
Right.
I personally really have a solid, foolproof plan that can go ahead and actually not only remedy this whole situation, but it'll actually make us a very powerful nation. And eventually we can finish the job that our grandfathers started.
Right.
You see, we need to go ahead and formulate this nation. We have to. It is dependent on our survival
Right.
and our thriving,
Right.
so
Right.
that the
Right.
future generations don't have to go through what we're going through
Right.
now. We
Right.
shouldn't be under attack like this with impunity.
Right.
We
Not
should
in
be able
not
to
in
go ahead.
not in not in not in 2019.
No. And as a matter of fact, we need to start taking passive aggressive approach. We need to take a passive aggressive approach to begin with.
Right.
And then eventually we're going to have to go ahead and let loose if things don't go a certain way.
Right.
And again, that's where I say I come in.
Right. Right.
The president and the vice president need to be protected at all times. Period. Which I'm trying to go ahead and arrange that as we
Well,
speak.
right. Well, speaking of protection, right now I'm recommending that every patronato who is in the United States of America reach out to your patronato right now.
That was going to be the next thing I was going to
Yeah,
mention.
yeah. I mean,
Yes,
those
sir.
patron
We
right
need
now.
all the patronatos is going to start reaching out, and we need to go and find out what are the resources that are needed, at least bare minimum, at least for personal protection. That's number one.
Yeah.
We have to do that.
Right.
Number one. Number two, we need to have a meeting of all the patronatos, and we need to go ahead and find out who has what. We need to bring all that to the table as
Right.
a collective. We need to go ahead and start really seriously fortifying our position, gentlemen.
Yeah.
We
Well,
have to.
we. The thing about that is realistically, and Pablo introduced me to a term that I've been using ever since, and that term is critical mass. We have to identify the people that are actually going to do the work that we know needs to be done.
Right.
The master plan that you have or will introduce to us, and the master plan that Pablo has, because he's been doing this for quite some time. He's seen people fail, right? He's learned a lot from those failures. Now, what we have to do is to make sure that we don't fail and we establish these institutions. But the
And
only way to do,
I
yeah,
guess that's where Pablo and I need to get together and we need to talk.
yeah, because we got to get to know each other. But back to the critical mass, we need the critical mass. And right now, I'm looking at three critical people. I'm looking at you, Ibrahim. I'm looking at Pablo. I'm looking at myself. And then we'll make it 15. We have 12 people watching live with us right now. And the number fluctuates, it changes, right? Then, and let's include those 12 people who understands that this conversation that we're having is important. Think about that. It's an important conversation. We're utilizing social media to have an important conversation. The 11 people plus us, that's a good thing. Now we take these people and then we put together a plan and we execute one step at a time. Because Pablo, these problems are not brand new.
We just never addressed them. That's what it is, Trevor. Because again, like I said, we're prisoners of war, and what we have done is escape the problem. When I
Right.
use the word escape, I'm thinking about migration.
Mm,
That's why we came over here.
That's an exact term.
that's deep.
You're
And
right.
migration happened because of the circumstance at Honduras. We don't
Right.
have the numbers to take these many losses.
Right.
As I alluded to earlier, we just don't.
Right.
We're already a small community.
But
We're,
Pablo, back up. Back up a little bit, dog, because you just messed my head up. You said we are prisoners of war.
we are prisoners of war, Trevor.
Okay. Okay, break that
We
down,
can't
son.
move the way that we want in Honduras. We're prisoners of war here in America as well.
Yeah. And no, anyway, look, ever since the exile, we've been prisoners of war, Ibrahim. Kings and queens, princesses and princes. We've been prisoners of war ever since we were exiled 222 years ago.
I
And
agree.
here we are thinking we are as free as the ones in America,
No, we're not.
free as the ones in Honduras, free and as autonomous as the one in Belize, even back home, Urume,
No,
and we're dead wrong. We
we're
are
in captivity, brother.
POW.
We're in captivity. we are in captivity right now.
Okay.
Because look
So,
at the news that I just read. And I have to, I feel very compelled to read the names of the two Garifuna persons from Bajamar
mm,
that were executed. Um, Magdalena Reyes, I believe her name is, and her husband, Montenegro. We have to keep these persons in peace. We got to keep them alive just by mentioning it.
but
Because we know the police, there is not going to do anything about them.
no, remember
It's
that's what
something that
happened
we
with
have accepted for a long time in the community, Trevor, and it has to stop.
yeah, and that's what happened with the last patronato, Mr. Silvio, 2 years ago. The police got involved, and nothing has happened again, like the man said, with such impunity. But we want to remind our people again: don't get it twisted. Because look, West Papua New Guinea. Let's go to Africa real quick. West Papua New Guinea. The Indonesian government.
Malaysia. That's
Uh,
actually
uh,
Indonesia.
Yeah, that's Malaysia.
no, 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 no. There. This is a specific point. The Indonesian government in West Papua are torturing the people of West Papua because they black. Okay, that's a point. Look at what's happening with the minority Puerto Rican group. They're not as black as we are, but they are our descendants. They come from garinagu. Look at the treatment that they're getting. This is supposed to be a state within the United States of America. A state within the United States of America, right? Look at what's happening with the Garifuna community in Honduras right now. My point is saying all of that is this: the laws of the land in which we live were not made for you and I. The laws of the land in which we live in were not made for you and I. So what we need to do as Garinagu, thank you again for the breakdown, Ibrahim. Abraham says that we are a royal family, and the UNESCO proclamation proves that, Pablo, because indigenous groups obviously are all royal families. They gotta be. That's why the UNESCO proclamation says intangible to human heritage is who Garinagu people are. We are a living treasure, is what the UNESCO proclamation says. Now, do we know that? Ibrahim just said that a second ago. Do we know? I want to have a conversation about that real quick, Pablo. Pablo, do we know who we are?
I don't think so. We only see the surface of who we are, which in what comes in the language, music, and dance. That's just the surface. Um, we don't understand our spirituality.
But Ugolendo.
We don't understand what Ogulendo is. We don't understand why we have these ceremonies, these chudu and the good
The
ceremonies.
goo, right,
That's what
right,
that is.
right.
We've been tricked into not practicing them in Honduras.
Yeah,
Because again, we want to be accepted into that society.
yeah,
And if you want to be accepted into that society, you can't do that.
right,
That's not acceptable.
right,
And the same thing happened in Livingston, and the same thing happened in Belize, because I know Garifuna people were persecuted in Belize for many years.
right. And what the government of Belize is doing right now is in 2014-15, there was an opportunity for indigenous people of Belize to proclaim themselves as indigenous under the Belizean government. Well, we dropped the ball. It didn't happen for us. But it happened because we didn't show up. Basically, the way the story goes, our leadership there was supposed to show up at meetings, which other indigenous groups like the Maya showed up to. And all they had to do was show up and be a part of that conversation. And when it came time to sign on as an indigenous group, then you would have done it. But our people didn't show up. And since they didn't show up, now the government of Belize is trying to pass a law that says that, look, if you're not indigenous by now, it's too late. Which is going to take away a lot of rights for garinagu in Belize, because indigenous people come with indigenous rights.
Um, I
So,
just,
gentlemen,
I don't know.
what are we gonna? So, what are we gonna do about that situation?
Well, the thing is, this conversation, a lot of these conversations have to be taken online because there's certain things that I just don't want to put out there.
Right. No, 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 no. I'm just saying. I mean, are we gonna go ahead and take action on these things?
Well,
But
the
first things
thing,
first, though, we need to address things in Honduras first. Let's just keep it real.
the
Yeah.
I
thing
mean,
is,
we did. That's
in trying to, from the grassroots point standpoint, and trying to get the community together in one place is very difficult for us in Honduras. Because again, there's 53 communities. I can tell you here in New York is the majority of them. But however, like this country puts some strains on you that deflates your enthusiasm
Away.
because we're not meeting our national hierarchy of needs. A lot of us are homeless here in New York. We're
can
homeless.
I
We're,
and
we're,
I
we're,
don't and I
we're not sustaining ourselves the way that we should.
and I don't mean to interject on this, gentleman. And you please excuse me for my passion. Because right now it's the righteous rage of the ancestors that are running through me right now.
Right.
I'm gonna be honest with you, on some real shit. There's no excuse.
Right.
I agree.
The men, we have no excuse.
Right.
You should be pissed off
Right.
and ready to go ahead and go to war and
Right.
train and fight
Right.
at right now. Instead of, oh no, yo, we're garinagu. Period.
Let me tell you something.
What you getting caught up? What you get? Yeah, we here in America. I get it. We're here. But we can't forget where we come from. We can't forget who we are. We need to know who we are.
Right.
I know who I am. That's for sure. I'm the grandson of King Joseph Satye. I am
Right.
Prince Ibrahim Gwiti Satye. That's who the
Yeah.
fuck I am.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's how it's going down. And we all need to start taking our mantle. We need to finish what our grandfather started. This is as simple as that. We can't make excuses.
My concern with that
Excuses
is,
for the weak.
my
Let me
concern
get
with
into
that.
this. Trevor, hold on a second. Let me say something. There was a do you guys remember the Happy Land fire?
Yeah.
That happened in 19.
Yeah,
87. Right.
yeah. My cousin died in there.
My uncle died in that.
Yeah.
So I created a petition to keep the guy from getting parole.
Oh, I signed that bad boy. I remember signing it.
Garifuna people were scared to even sign a fucking petition.
I signed.
But that's just the state that we're in.
No, but it
You know
goes.
what?
It
There are
goes.
people that are in the community that are scared to sign a petition.
Right. That's when you don't know who you are, though. If we knew who we were, and if we knew that we truly are the children of great warriors, right? Hypothetically, we
Ain't no
are.
hypothetical about
No,
that.
no, no, no. I'm just saying. I mean, this. I'm using that for the sake of our listeners, right? You and I, and Pablo and I, we know who we are, right? I'm using the term hypothetically for those who may not get it like we get it. Just fathom away and hypothetically think that you are the child of kings and queens who were fierce warriors, right? They defeated the British, they defeated the French, and they didn't have guns and things, but they
And they fucked
defeated
up
them.
the Spaniards.
Yeah, and messed up the Spaniards, right? And imagine hypothetically that you are the children of these people, and how would you react if five of your kinfolk just got knocked off 2 days in a row?
3 days.
Remember, you're a
I'm
fierce
burning the
warrior.
city down. I'll
You
be
feel
honest
me?
with you.
Well, look, now in order for us to do anything, we need the critical mass. because
Well, of course.
the greatest weapon that we have is our mind. Because that was the greatest weapon that our ancestors had, was
Yep.
their mind. Do you think that our ancestors settled on the windward and the leeward side of St. Vincent without it being a strategy?
Of course not.
It was a strategy to settle right there in the first place. They could see everything coming and they could see everything going. That's why they settled there strategically. Now, here we are, their children. 5 of our kinfolk just got knocked off. And I see people posting about the next Punta party, about the next Punta event, about the next Garifuna festival. Is that the attitude that we should be taking, Pablo?
I'm gonna charge those people to the game because Trevor, they just don't know. They don't know. They don't know, and I
It's
can't blame them for not knowing because this is not. If you're from Honduras, the history that's been taught to you is that we were slaves
in Honduras.
in Honduras.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
yeah,
That's what it is. So you
yeah,
grow up with this mentality. I'm like, oh, you're esclavo. You know what I'm saying? Like your self-esteem is gonna be third-class citizen, automatic.
right, right. I'm at 12% on my phone, Pablo. We've been at it for quite some time. If we could bring it to a close, not wrap it up 100%, but bring it to some fine tuning points that we need our audience to understand, like Bajamar. We're starting with Aguan. Pablo has the list. Aguan, 2 people killed there. Bajamar, Honduras, 2 people killed there. Today, a few hours ago, another Garifuna, in this case, a Garifuna leader, killed in Masca, Honduras. Just like a Garifuna leader was killed in that same community 2 years ago, and nothing has happened about it. And the conversation that we're having here on Mabriga Garinagu is, Garifuna people, do we know who we are? Do we know that we need to stand up as one and live up to the definition of Album Amurunu?
We have to get more involved. You want to get involved, contact, go to garifunaworld.com. Contact me on blancoonline.com. I mean, there's so many ways to get involved. We're here, like I said, we're captive. We're prisoners of war. We're captive. I mean,
Right.
we don't have much. We don't have much, and
Right.
fighting fragmentedly is not helping us at all.
Right.
Gentlemen, I'm going to say this. We can't say that we don't have much. The most important thing that we have is our heart, our soul, that fire in our belly. Because I know that those that are asleep, they have moments, and I say this to I've been through that phase. We have moments where we're like, what are we destined to do? Who am I?
Right.
What am I? And we have this rage running through us, and we wondering why we have this rage. And then when we get to know our history, which is where it starts, once we know our real history,
Right.
once we know our real history, and we know who we are, who we descend from, because guess what, Pablo? You're my cousin.
Yeah.
You're my first cousin.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Trevor, you're also my first cousin.
Okay, guys.
Yo, real talk. No, real talk. Don't think I haven't been speaking to the elders.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
What's up, cuz?
I'm just saying.
We come from the
But
same style.
we exactly. So we need to muster that. We have that in us.
Right.
We can't make any excuses anymore.
Right.
And for those who want to get in contact with me, I have an email address where I can address any and all questions. It's thecorporation2019@gmail.com. Again, that's thecorporation2019@yahoo.com. I mean, not Yahoo, excuse me, Gmail. Gmail.com. Okay?
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, I'm going to have to let y'all go. Hopefully, we'll get to talk. Trevor, we'll talk, Mr. President.
Los Angeles. See you in Los
Yes, sir. And yes, sir, Mr. Vice President, we'll talk as well. Good night, everyone. Love y'all.
How about you, man?
All right, Malik.
How about you,
Yo, Pablo, I want to take this moment as my last comment to invite everyone to the third annual Garifuna Consortium Symposium in Los Angeles, November 8th and 9th. It's going to be on the corner of 135th and Figueroa. Um, we invite everyone to come out, fly in, just like you guys fly into these parties. Fly into a conversation that's going to be legit, talking about Garifuna people and what really matters to us. And if we really love our culture and we're really proud of who we are, it's time for us to establish institutions. And the third annual consortium is going to be talking about voter registration and education, the Garifuna census, Garifuna economy, Garifuna youth, because we have to focus on the youth. The formation of a Garifuna media, such as Mabriga Garinagu, Gari Vision, Habafo Garinagu, Wagi Radio Limon, Bajamar Noticia, and quite a few others that are coming up. We need to support them. So come to the symposium in Los Angeles, November 8th and 9th, where you can learn more about what you can directly do to impact uh, a bright future for Garinagu people. Appreciate it, Pablo.
Thank you for that, Trevor. And again, I mean, I've dedicated a large chunk of my time into raising awareness about us, and I feel at times that it's falling on deaf ears, but you know I've been getting inboxes lately that people tell me that they appreciate the work that I do. I mean,
Right.
it's time. It's time, Trevor. I mean, as
Yeah.
you alluded to, these institutions, we need them,
Right.
and the work is a marathon.
It's a marathon. Yeah. Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace. It's all a marathon. You know what I'm saying? It's all a marathon, and we can't do it without that critical mass, Pablo. And the people support is so important, man. You know what I mean? We have people who won't donate to our group because we're a 501c4 organization and not a 501c3. And the difference is, for a 501c3, your donation is tax deductible. Now, why we chose to be a 501c4 is because it gives us lobbying power. We could actually approach the immigration issue directly, Pablo, through policy. You understand what I'm saying? That's what a 501c3 can't do that. But we still need financial support.
Right.
We still need financial support. You know what I'm saying? Especially if we're going to impact immigration. Y nosotros somos inmigrantes, que no lo olvidamos. Somos inmigrantes. Mama American wagain. Most waranse gu wongo, most wafanse ha idu luba la lebu gu kate lubade get la chidu down. Most hichiku musu budan won luga wana lame wadigani. So we ask everyone to participate in any capacity that they can. Garinagu GAC for PayPal, uh, 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 the dollar sign Garifuna 2020 on Cash App. Send us a couple of dollars, help us out, contact me directly. Our treasurer is Jean Melendez out of Houston, Texas. Contact her directly if you want to support the cause. Pablo, we're also going to be in New York City, October the 18th. We've partnered with the NAACP.
Right.
We invite you, if you're in New York, to be a part of that. October the 19th, we're going to have a Garifuna Stop the Violence initiative. Rest in peace, Derek, and any Garifuna person who recently lost their lives. Isaac in Houston, Texas, to senseless violence. So October the 18th and the 19th, we will be in New York City having a conversation with the community about how we can work together because we're also about to launch our voter registration campaign. This is an election year coming up. We need for you to register to vote. There are 19 ballots items that need to be discussed that you got to know about in New York City. You got to know about these 19 ballots so you just don't vote on anything because they're going to impact you. Sereme, Pablo.
Thank you, Trevor. And remember to go to Mabriga Garinago on YouTube, in which I touched on how to vet politicians. I touched on that. I did a show about that, and I think that's very important for
It is.
the persons here in America to look at. It
Right.
doesn't just apply to New York; it applies to all 50 states. We need to be more civically engaged
Yeah.
because if we have somebody in Congress that could push for our agenda,
Right.
we wouldn't have these massacres at all.
Not at all.
The thing is that we don't have no voice. That's the problem.
Yeah.
We're trying to create that voice. I mean, right now, we have to speak as one
Right.
from all 53 communities. We got to speak as one. We got to show
Right.
our outreach. We got to go to the Council of Honduras.
Right.
We got to go marching in front of the State Department. I mean, we have to do something.
Right. I mean,
Something.
people. There should be an uproar. There should be an uproar in New York right now. Because there's too many garinagu. There's too many garinagu in New York. There's over 350,000 garinagu in New York, and they all have family in Honduras. There should be an uproar in New York City right now about what's happening with our communities in Honduras. You know
I
what I'm
hope,
saying?
I hope I see it.
Yeah.
I hope I see it. I hope something is going to happen in one of the community institutions. You know, because as of now, I haven't seen anything. I haven't
Right.
seen anything interesting in this. I don't see anybody talking about it.
Right.
And you know, we have brothers and sisters in Honduras that are basically living in fear, Trevor.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
living in fear. I mean, we don't have weapons. You know what I'm saying? We don't have a lot of things. I mean, I spent a lot of time in Honduras, and I went to a lot of different Garifuna communities.
Right.
And I can let you know we're like close to 300 years back.
Yeah. And everything.
In
Yeah.
Honduras.
In everything. Look, we want to thank everyone who tuned in tonight to this very important special edition of My Rigor Live. Because we're not talking about something that is happening in Hollywood. We're talking about something for real that is happening in our own communities. And if we are really the type of people who love our culture, like I know we do, we're just distracted, Pablo, like you said, with survival mode, etc. But it's not too late for us to come to our own senses and acknowledge who we are. And in acknowledging who we are, we can cooperate with each other and fix every Garifuna problem, regardless where you are, because that's who we are as a people. Any rule and regulation that established for one Garifuna person, it falls for all of them. So we need to get together, join the International Garifuna Council. I am Trevor Palacio, the president. Pablo Blanco is the vice president. We're asking you to join us and be a part of the Garifuna movement in this era. Thanks, Pablo.
Thank you, Trevor. And again, this is a marathon, and we're going to keep on going. I hope to have more persons engage with us. Again, those websites, readyfornowworld.com, pabloblancoonline.com. Visit them. If you have any questions, just send us just ask us. Just send us an email. We make it easy for us to be contacted. I mean, this is something that you're doing for the next generation. At the same time, you're respecting for you're showing respect for your ancestors as well.
Exactly.
So it's twofold. I mean,
Yeah.
why would you want to do that? Wouldn't you
Right.
want your children to visit Honduras one day? Because the way it's looking now,
Yeah.
we're not going to be able to visit Honduras.
Right. Right.
So I encourage everyone to get involved.
Right.
And that's all I have to say. Homso garinagu sereme.
Amen. Sereme Pablo. Mabrigo hon songo ba. Aba isini.
Mabrik.